Hey folks, Eric here, the whatever guy, because it really is whatever with me. And do you folks want to know about this judge rejecting the AMC officials' request to let them award these licenses a third time? You guys stick around, man. I'll talk to you guys about that. As you guys know, man, my name's Eric. I am the whatever guy, and I usually shoot videos a couple days a week, basically keeping you guys updated in the world of Delta 8, Delta 9, Delta 10, hemp cannabis, just what's going on around. And today, man, it's an early Monday morning, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys about it, man. And my idea was to get up this morning and do a completely different video. I was actually down at Sweet Southern Vapes this weekend. I'm looking for some vegan orange slices. Somebody that makes those vegan orange slices. And while I was in there, I was looking around at some of their stuff. Sweet Southern Vapes has a gummy line over in Niceville, Florida. And as I was running around in there, I actually picked up these Fuego gummies. And the thing about them is like I got down into the side of them and looked at them, and the first thing I realized was like Fuego doesn't make these. And so like, my question to like these shop owners and stuff out there is like, you guys are buying these, these products with these, these labels on them. And these companies that you're buying it from are not the person, are not the people that are making these gummies. Like I know who's making these gummies and it's not Fuego. So my question to these shop owners is like, why not put your own label on your own product? Like, Boral Hemp themselves, white labels for about 540 different brands ourselves. And we can put a label on a product for you if that's what you want. You can basically formulate your own product, your own website. You can become an entrepreneur in the CBD and hemp space, from scratch with little or no money. But for you shop owners that are out there, when I walk into a place and I buy these Fuego gummies, when I get down to the end and I go back into your shop and you don't have them anymore, the first thing I'm going to do is flip this around and I'm going to go to the fucking website to buy them, rather than go to your store. So my question to you is why not send somebody out of the store with a product on it that has your label on it and your website on it, so that when they do come back, they're ordering your shit and not someone else's. And that was going to be the video for today. But as it stands, I got a lot of requests for this video this morning. I actually had three calls, or not three calls, but three messages this morning about this article. So we're going to flip over and look at this and take a look at it. And I actually had one call or one message for me to stop making these fucking videos. Like, people don't want me making these videos right now. They don't want me making this noise, because I'm going to have a few things to say about this argument that we've got going on over here with the AMCC wanting to reaward these licenses a third time. As you guys know, way back on June 12th of this year, they awarded those licenses for the first time, and they had been working on these things for 4 years. And within a couple of hours, man, we knew we had some issues with it. And then obviously we fall forward to August 10th, where we had this second awarding of the licenses. They were supposed to award those licenses to the top people that scored the highest on those scoring data, and they didn't do that. Like for us, what they did was they skipped over us and they went down to the fifth company and awarded them a license. And it's interesting that we're fixing to talk about this article over here for Verano. Verano has filed a lawsuit. They were actually first in the vertical space to get a license, but what they failed to realize is Alabama. It was supposed to be Alabama first. We actually hit all the categories and still scored and stopped for and didn't get one. I appreciate Verano for bringing this lawsuit forward, because this is going to bring a lot of shit to light as far as our lawsuit goes. But in the end, Verano should not get a license because they're based out of Chicago, not in Alabama. So I'm going to switch over to an article right now over at Marijuana Moment. So we're going to take a look at it so you guys can see what's going on. And basically what it says is Alabama judge rejects medical marijuana officials' request to delay lawsuits so they can award licenses a third time. Now, this is some crazy shit, guys. Like they literally want to just like, oh, we can fix everything and go in here and try to like do after the fact type of shit to get this done. But let's take a look at this and see what it is, and you guys will get a little laugh out of this too. It says a Montgomery County Court Circuit Judge Thursday dismissed a motion from the AMCC to lift a temporary restraining order and postpones next week's preliminary hearing on AMCC's alleged Open Meetings Act violation. And let me just say from the get-go, guys, that William Somerville, they say is representing Alabama Always, but he's also representing Green Phoenix, which is Boral Hemp. He's representing 4 or 5 companies in this lawsuit. Now, I don't know why they keep just mentioning Alabama Always, but the company that I work for is actually involved in this lawsuit also. Judge James Anderson did not provide reasons for dismissing the motion, but said to the defendant and plaintiffs that if there is anything y'all can agree on, to let him know before the next hearing. Anderson then ended the hearing and walked away. William Webster, legal counsel for the AMCC, claimed in a motion to postpone the hearing that they could potentially address criticism the commission has faced at the next commission meeting by voiding and reawarding licenses a third time without going into an executive session. So they could have fixed this the first time, but like that, I don't know what they want to just like shut the lawsuit down and like, oh, my bad, let's bring it all back out in the open and have a conversation. But really, that's not going to be able to happen. Like at this point in the game, we know the whole process is fucked up. We know that somebody's been talking to people behind closed doors. We know that some of these officials have been actually text messaging people that got some of these licenses, prior to them getting the awarding of the licenses. So we're not going to see, we're going to see what happens as we go forward. It says we're not admitting any wrongdoing, but in an effort to try to calm the waters and potentially avoid more litigation, the commission could reconvene next week and rework the process without going into executive session. But William Somerville, attorney for plaintiff Alabama Always, and several other companies, which is suing the AMCC over allegations that it violated the state's Open Meetings Act, at its August 10th meeting said after the hearing, allowing the commission a third chance could still lead to issues. Obviously, based on the commission's previous meetings, he believed the AMCC members could simply vote on the licenses awarded at the last meeting with minimal effort and discussion, because we know they had an executive session for 4 hours. I know that for a fact because I'm the one, like I literally, I didn't have enough common sense to like just shut the video off at the end, like they were, like when they were in the executive session. Like I literally ran the video from the morning it started all the way to the fucking end. So like you got the whole thing in the middle, like everybody's conversations, all the talking that was going on at the board, everything that you could hear in the video while they were when they were in private session. I've got all that. This is because we know that they had an executive session for 4 hours and nobody knows exactly what was discussed then. So we think that the debate needs to be in public so that everybody can know what's going on. Alabama Always, which applied for but did not receive a license in the first 2 rounds of the awards, alleged that the commission members privately nominated companies for public votes on licenses awarded during an executive session on August 10th. Under state law, public bodies in executive session generally cannot take votes on businesses. The AMCC re-awarded the license for production and distribution of medical cannabis at the August 10th meeting, 2 months after stopping earlier awards amid questions about the evaluation of applications. Anderson last week imposed a temporary restraining order on the licensing process, writing that Alabama Always had demonstrated a substantial likelihood of success on the merits, imminent likelihood of irreparable harm, the absence of an adequate remedy at law, and the balance of equities. So here's the thing, guys, as we move forward with this lawsuit right here, what this judge is basically saying is like they have a chance to win this. They have a valid argument, or he would have never put the restraining order in place. Like if he had seen this evidence and looked at it and said, okay, you guys never had a fucking chance at a license anyway, he probably would have just kicked this out the door and we would still be moving on with the medical licenses. But that's not the case. He actually looked at all this evidence and realized that Alabama Always, Boro Hemp, and the other companies that are involved in this had a valid argument, because obviously Boro Hemp does, because as we stand, we scored in the top 4. There was only supposed to be 4 licenses awarded. It was supposed to be Alabama first, and the social equity license that was supposed to be awarded, that was the very first license in manufacturing space. 1819 got that license. They scored first. They were the social equity, so they should have went 2, 3, 4, but they didn't go 2, 3, 4, guys. What they went was 2, 3, 5. They skipped right over us and they went right off the Organic Harvest. We scored better than Organic Harvest. I think it's Organic Harvest in the whole licensing process, through the weighted score and through the score from the AMCC itself. And I'm pretty sure on the other side when it came to KMGP. On Monday, Verano Holdings, a Chicago-based company with an Alabama chapter, sued the AMCC, alleging the commission cannot revoke licenses and that its exercise of powers both exceeds and conflicts with the authority provided to it by the Alabama legislature. Verano received an integrated facility license in the first round in June, but did not get one in the second round. And I would imagine that the reason why they didn't get one in the second round around, because my understanding is that they are actually tied to one of those manufacturing licenses down at the bottom. One of those companies, and I'm not going to name any names, one of the companies in the manufacturing space, one of those 4 that got a license, has actually worked with Verano prior to this, okay, and they should not have been awarded a license. And I might add the fact that Verano's based out of Chicago, and this is supposed to be Alabama first. You were not supposed to be able to just come to Alabama, set up operations, and just start and claim that you were from Alabama. You had to be someone that had been from Alabama for a long time. I appreciate Verano for bringing this forward, bringing this lawsuit to the forefront, because what it's going to do is bring those scoring, the scoring inconsistencies up, because Verano did score first in the integrated licenses, but the fact that they are not from Alabama and they're not based in Alabama should have excluded them from that process from the very beginning. Now, the same thing goes for Boro Hemp. Boro Hemp scored in the top 4, but we're from Alabama and had been doing business in Alabama all this time. So I don't understand what was the reason why Alabama, Boro Hemp didn't get a license. Although it was not Verano's hearing, on Thursday, the company frequently came up in the discussions. Lawyers involved in Alabama Always case were careful not to take Verano's position, and Anderson indicated that the commission might have the power to void licenses. Anderson said that while he needs to look at court precedent, it seems that if a body has the authority to grant something, I would think they'd have the ability to remove it. A preliminary hearing on the injunction is set for August 28th at the Montgomery County Courthouse, where plaintiffs will have to convince the judge that there is substantial evidence that the AMCC violated the Opens Meeting Act. Guys, but they're all they got to do is show them a video. Like I've got the video. They don't have a copy of it. I'm sure they know to ask me for one. They definitely did reconvene. They definitely did go behind closed doors. They did it for 4 hours. They literally voted on when they came back out. They had a vote in the open on the people that they discussed, and like Alabama Always, Verano, and those companies weren't even brought up. Like if you weren't getting a license, you basically weren't brought up at all, and they didn't discuss you at all. So like I want to know why Green Phoenix didn't get a license. Why is it that Moore Hemp didn't get a license, guys? I really appreciate the fact that the judge granted this TRO. Obviously was nice enough to shoot down this motion from the AMCC to kill the TRO. It obviously bodes well in the fact that we have some sort of argument going forward in the future, or he would have never given it to us in the first place. I really hope that they can get this figured out, but this obviously bodes well in the future. And you know what? We need to put some a little shankles on the AMCC board. And on top of that, Verano was nice enough to write a letter to Aunt Kay Ivey, which is the governor of Alabama. I don't know if you guys know, but she's actually from my area. I actually knew her pretty well when I was a kid. I used to see her probably quite a bit when I was a kid. Not that I know her any, now, but the fact of the matter is she's from my area, Camden, Alabama, up in that area there. And hopefully she read that letter, and maybe she'll step in and do some sort of fixing of these licenses. All right, folks, whatever guys signing off, and I'll talk to you guys later, man. Hope everyone had a great week, and I'll see you guys later. And I apologize for being a little bit jawed up early in the morning, and I'm a little bit fired up. All right, folks, talk to you later. Love you. Bye.